On our Tuesday episode of Locked On Raptors, the Toronto Raptors finally played a close game, and they won it. I like it when they win the games.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now the number one sports podcast network in the world, or I guess North America. There's probably bigger soccer podcast networks, but we're really big, okay? Today's show, I am your host, Sean Woodley. There's how we're going with this. I'm very excited. The Raptors are good, and it's a thrill. It's been a long couple of years. I'm, of course, Sean Woodley. I've been your host at this show for 10 years. I've been covering the Raptors for 12 seasons on various platforms. You can find all my work over on Blue Sky. You can find the show on Instagram. You can join us in the Locked On Raptors Discord server. And on this Tuesday, November the 18th episode of the podcast, we are talking about the Toronto Raptors taking down the Charlotte Hornets 110-108 to move to 9-5. Their 8th win in their last 9 games. It's all thrilling. And here to talk about the game, talk about crunch time, the Raptors haven't done that much. They haven't played close games. They performed admirably enough to get the win. Some dramatics, some dunks, some blocks, some thrills, and way too much LaMelo Ball. We'll get into Brandon Ingram being really good as well, and the good bad. It is Vivek Jacob, Big V. Can you sense that I'm excited right now?
Yes, I can, man. You are a kid in a candy store. But it's fun times, man. It's fun times. We've waited a long time for the team to be competitive again. They are definitely competitive again. And in terms of what the ceiling is, I think there's still some stuff to learn. But for now, you will absolutely take this team being able to win some close games, win some blowout games, and just look pretty damn good.
Yeah, man. Let's start off with the crunch time stuff. We will talk about Brandon Ingram and play another round of What Sound Did You Make? Our favorite game about onomatopoeias on this podcast a little bit later. But I do want to talk about just the crunch time of it all. It's been a while since the Raptors played a close game. Before last night, they had just one game all season decided by single digits. It was the Bucks loss in the second game of the season. Kind of wild swings. They've been running teams off the floor when they've lost. It's been by, not 30 or anything like that, but double digits pretty comfortably. And so it was cool to see them play a game where they actually had to run crunch time offense and play crunch time defense. And I actually have a clip here from Darko Rajakovic after the game talking about why he thought it was actually good for them to get that look at crunch time and what is going to come out of it. Let's roll that tape.
You're reading my mind. We were like last 5 minutes of the game. I was like, this is good for us. This is good for us. This is going to be a very good film for us to watch. And I thought that we did some extraordinary things there down the stretch. We did it, rim protection, blocking shots, coming up with some very important rebounds. And also, it was going to be a good film for us to learn how we can close the game, how to better execute there.
So that's Darko talking about crunch time and why it was good. He was happy to see them playing a close game, realized, hey, you know what? We could use this this sort of cutting our teeth in a game where every possession is kind of magnified. And V, I got to tell you, I was not thrilled with how they played this game on offense down the stretch. They obviously got enough done, and we'll get into what happened that was good. But I thought for me, the big takeaway here was they defended incredibly well in crunch time. And look, the Hornets are the Hornets, but their offense is not a joke. Knipple, really good. Is he already their best player? He was kind of scary all night long. LaMelo Ball, we know, is at least talented, if not, good at playing basketball. It was just, they're not an easy team to go and slow down necessarily. And I thought from Emmanuel quickly, his on-ball defense on LaMelo, he made a couple really smart rotations. One where Knipple had, a pump and drive to the basket. It looked like he was going to go all the way, and then quickly just kind of steps up, gets big, forces a kick out, and then a missed 3 from Miles Bridges. And then, of course, the pièces de resistance, the 2 blocks at the end of the game. The Brandon Ingram just flying out of nowhere to block Ryan Kalkbrenner, and then Scottie Barnes, the walk-off block on Colin Sexton. Just really, really great lockdown defense. And not to say that this is going to be the true weapon for this team late in games, the way it was maybe for the title defense season, where that team was incredible in crunch time because their defense was unscorable on. good at words is me. But thoughts on the way they defended down the stretch in this one. I thought it really was the reason they got this one over the line. The offense a little bit the other way, kind of janky, but doesn't matter when you're getting them stops.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts to Darko. Once it got to the 3-minute mark and it was, Charlotte had just like got within 2 at that point, I think it felt like, okay, let's see what this team has got. Let's see what this starting 5 has got to close out this contest, because we know they've had some funky minutes playing together. And for the defense to come together the way it did, I think is a real positive. I think, we'll get into Ingram in a little bit, but as you mentioned, like the offense, like some of that stuff they'll have to work on and get better at. And Darko said, right, like, hey, we're going to have a lot of good film to watch. Totally. And I'm sure that they'll pick up on some things that they could do better on the offensive side. Defensively, Charlotte not being able to score over the final 140 to really just shut it down. And full credit to like Jak, Ingram, Scottie, like being able to protect the rim as and when they needed to, right? And I think Jak was a big part of that. And I think we know what that duo is capable of Jak and Scottie on the back line. But in situations where Scottie gets pulled out to the perimeter, to see Ingram be able to make a play like that on Kalkbrenner is incredible. Like I really didn't think he had a shot at the play once the pass was made. I like, as soon as I saw the pass, I thought, oh, tie game. And he would, in the end, he played it perfectly, right? Like he had to play for the pass to the corner, and then he had to be ready for the pass inside. So he hedged it perfectly, knowing obviously his own length, the level of explosiveness that he has right now, which he says is still nowhere near where he can get to. And
Ryan Kalkbrenner is calling cap on that.
But yeah, I thought that was a sensational play. And yeah, you make good points about quickly too.
Yeah. They're just a really, for a team that the defense was kind of the big bugaboo to start the season, they've really rounded it form. They're number 3 in defense over the last 2 weeks, by the way. That's interesting. That's really encouraging. And yeah, they just completely shut down the Hornets again. They mentioned that final 140 without a Hornets bucket. Pretty big deal. Offensively, it was, like I said, a mixed bag. There was some good, some bad. I thought they maybe leaned a little too heavily on the Brandon do something offense in the final 5 minutes, which, like, hey, fair enough. That's kind of how a lot of teams play crunch time. Hey, get it to our best ISO scorer and just kind of let stuff flow out of that. And to their credit, they got the game-winning bucket out of Ingram getting a double team and finding RJ Barrett cutting to the rim. So, no harm, no foul. But there were, I think, a few possessions where he took a little bit too long to make the decision. He had the one sort of turnaround jumper over Con Knipple out of the double that just was like a really tough shot. They maybe could have got something better out of it. He turned over, I think, at like 4:45 left when they double teamed around the nail. I thought their best stuff came in sort of semi-transition down the stretch there. I think a lot of it was, there was the wide open 3 they got from Quickly on the trail coming off of Ingram driving. That didn't go in, but I thought that was a good look. He had the Quickly attacking really fast and getting the kick to the corner for Ingram, misses the 3, but then Barnes gets the board, backs down Miles Bridges and puts him in the basket. Incredibly satisfying bucket, by the way. Just, beautiful. Love it for all of the reasons. But what were your overall impressions of the offense? Still some things to iron out, but I mean, if it's going to look like that when they haven't had any reps together and there's plenty of room to improve and film to watch, not a bad starting point for crunch time.
Yeah, I think, the main part of it is what you said, right? Just a little too much Brandon Ingram. Like, you've got this offense that's been performing really well. So I think that's going to kind of be a test. It's like, hey, when you get the next opportunity, are you still able to play more of in the flow that you've generally had on the season? And then just kind of use Brandon similar to the way you've used him in the other quarters, right? Where it's like, hey, we're under 10 on the shot clock now. Okay, now's the time to ISO him up and then we'll play off of that. But yeah, there were more opportunities to run the offense and stay in the flow. They didn't do that. They watched the film and hopefully learn from it. But yeah, first game, getting through it, And I think, with Scottie, maybe that's kind of one thing that they'll look at and be like, oh, you know what, when he's got a matchup, like, let's get it to him, because early on you couldn't make the entry feed into him. And what was it, 3 passes in a row that you kind of just gave back to Charlotte, trying to get it into him when he was defended by Con Knipple. And then this situation, he goes and gets it himself on the air ball by Ingram, and he's able to just bully Bridges. It was incredible how easily he just backed Bridges and then just dunked it. So yeah, I think that's a thing that you look at and say, hey, this is more of an option than maybe you're thinking. And he's knocking down 80% of his free throws so far. So
yeah,
you trust that too.
Yeah, like I said, even in a game where it wasn't all perfect, it wasn't pretty, still a lot to like, and you would assume that more crunch time reps is just going to mean a little more refinement as they get into these situations going forward against presumably better teams than the Charlotte Hornets. We're going to come back into the side, talk about another guy that we're liking the experience quite a bit, Brandon Ingram, who had a bit of a weird game, had a really bad start, figured it out, scored 27 points, and, ruined Ryan Kalkbrenner's life twice on both ends of the floor. We will get to that coming up in just 1 second. Today's show is brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That is why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. You get everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access, and it runs automatically and perfectly in sync. Whether you want to run your entire HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. And right now, you can get 6 months for free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. That's rippling.com/lockedonnba to learn more. That's rippling.com/lockedonnba for 6 months free. Go check it out. Today's show is also brought to you by Prize Picks, the single best way to play daily fantasy sports. We make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, if you're right about your decisions, you get paid. You don't have to miss the excitement of sports this season, even if you're maybe not playing in like a season-long fantasy league or anything like that. Maybe you've retired from that game and just want to go with the daily route. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action on Prize Picks than right now. And if you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup. You can play anywhere. Prize Picks operates, including in California, Texas, and Georgia. And so, yeah, maybe you have the Toronto Raptors on a given night. You want to take the more on Scottie Barnes blocks and Brandon Ingram points. That makes a lot of sense. Scottie Barnes keeps getting lots of blocks, and Brandon Ingram keeps on getting points. Maybe you take the more on his blocks, too. He had 3 last night. Maybe this is the sign of Brandon Ingram turning the corner defensively. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Back at it here with Big Vivek Jacob from Raptors in 7, among other places on the internet where you can find his basketball words. Brandon Ingram. Woohoo! Lots of fun in this game. Maybe it's his sort of like coming out party in Toronto. I think probably the best home game he's played so far this season in front of the home crowd. Certainly the loudest, certainly the one with the most sort of impact on winning in a couple of very specific instances. 27 points for him, 3 assists, 6 boards, 2 steals, 3 blocks, including that absolute pin job on Kalkbrenner at the end. Again, cannot just that. I watched it back like 4 times this morning. It was as impressive as the dunk, which he threw down on Kalkbrenner's head a few minutes before that. We'll get into what sound we made at the dunk in a second here, but overall impressions of Ingram's game. I thought this was actually kind of an uneven game from him. It was like a B plus at best game, I think. The first quarter, he had 4 turnovers, really looked like he was forcing the issue a little bit too much, kind of like we saw in crunch time a little bit. Just looked a little out of sorts. And then as the game progressed, he kind of figured things out, stopped with the turnover trouble, had the huge dunk, big defensive contributions as well. And again, up and down in crunch time as far as decision-making and speed with decision-making. But overall, it's really cool that Brandon Ingram plays for the Toronto Raptors, Big V. They got him for Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown, and a first-round pick. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've written this over at Raptors in 7. For me, this game was, I got the impression that Brandon Ingram came into this game saying, "Hey, I'm starting to really feel good physically. I want to start pushing the depths of that and see
Sure.
just where my body's at. Can I take on more volume? What can I handle? How am I feeling? And some of those questions will be answered today,
Sure.
the morning after. So I think this may have been him saying this is relatively a lower leverage situation. We're at home against the Charlotte Hornets.
Mm.
I'm gonna maybe do some things that don't look so good, but there might be a night down the line where it's a big game and maybe the other guys aren't willing to look at the basket so much, or they're really struggling and I need to empty the clip and I need to rev up and know that I've got it in the tank. That's kind of how I took this game. Obviously, if this continues to be a trend and it's like, oh, I'm feeling good physically and now this is how I play, then that's not going to be good for this team. The offense has proven too good to have him kind of hijack it in that way. It might be too strong of a word, but in terms of the offense yesterday, I didn't mind him kind of forcing the issue to kind of test where he's at. And I'd be surprised if he played that exact same way against Philly.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, as is sort of the case with the way the Raptors are playing offense this season, it is a balancing act between these all sort of different facets of what they want to do. And I think, as I've said on the show, I think the variability to the stuff they can run on a given possession, whether it's something through Ingram in a more sort of slow it down traditional sense, or they run their classic, dribble handoff and movement stuff. Like, I think that is to their advantage that they keep defenses guessing as to what's coming next. I just think, yeah, maybe it was a little bit imbalanced last night, but again, like, if that's the game he's going to have when it's kind of not looking great and he's turning the ball over a bunch, I'll live with that all day long. It's very cool to have a dude who can just go get you 27 points on kind of an off night. They've not had that in recent years. And I mean, okay, let's just get to the most important part. He had the dunk on Ryan Cockbrenner. That was the best dunk I've seen in person at a Raptors game in quite some time. It was a thrill. I had a great time. And, it's nice to have dunks back in our lives, dunks that matter on a team that's winning. What sound did you make when that dunk happened, Big V? It's our favorite game where we make sounds with our mouths. What sound did you make when Ingram welcomed Ryan Cockbrenner to the NBA?
So the funny thing is, I was actually mid-conversation with a friend who was over. And then he makes the play. So I go from like half having this conversation to just like completely cutting him off and being like, whoa!
I like it. Interrupting your friend. I hope it wasn't like he was sharing like deep life news or anything like that.
No.
Justified, I think.
It was just
it'd be weird to be sharing deep life news in the middle of the fourth quarter of a close game.
It was general sports talk, so it was completely fine.
Right on.
Yeah, and so just like completely caught me off guard. We've kind of been waiting to see that. Obviously there was the interview a week ago where he said the explosiveness is the one thing that's missing from his game. We see the dunk, we see the block, and definitely looks like it's trending in the right direction. He was asked about the explosiveness after this game, and he said that it's still not quite there, but it's on the way. And if it's still not quite there, we got some plays to look forward to, buddy.
Yeah, Cockbrenner, DNPCD the next time they play the Hornets in a couple weeks. If that is the sign of things to come explosiveness wise, pretty big deal for Brandon Ingram. And to answer my own question, the sound I made, look, this was, it's last couple of years, it hasn't been very hard to maintain press row objectivity because nothing has made you excited watching the Toronto Raptors. We're all fans. It is what it is, right? Like we don't have to be too precious about it necessarily, but usually I try to like avoid being too gregarious and loud about the things that are happening that make me feel happy on the court when I'm at a game. But this was a real test of press row objectivity because the dunk was so rad, and my sound was more of a oh, just like I kind of like pushed myself back in my chair a little bit, the little stank face. That was kind of the sound I went with. Let us know your sounds. I don't know how you send me sound files.
What was the general press row vibe as that happened?
Thrilled. Freaking thrilled. Like I think everyone's just kind of on cloud nine watching games that matter again. And so the vibes are high. Everyone's thrilled to just be kind of soaking it all in. And yeah, man, that was a ton of fun. And yeah, like when was the last Raptors dunk that made us feel something like that? I know RJ had a couple big ones last year, but again, all in pretty anonymous games. It's been quite some time.
I mean, I might.
Was it Scottie going coast to coast against the Magic in his rookie season? That was a pretty sick dunk.
So I was actually going to go back to Thad Young in the playoffs. Having that moment against Philly.
Right. When he didn't dunk, though. He crossed over Joel Embiid, right? Was that it?
Didn't he dunk it?
I think I think he crossed him over and hit a mid-ranger, but it felt like a dunk and was on its own worth the trade, I think.
Yeah. That's the power of emotion. It just turned into a dunk in my head.
Everything should be dunks. This is the sort of, I think, main thesis of the podcast is what if everything was a dunk?
Yeah.
Let us know your favorite dunks from the last few years in the comments when you also let us know the sounds you made when Ingram made the dunk. That's been What Sound Did You Make? Hopefully a segment that returns many times throughout this season. It's been a little bit. We're going to come back into the side here, Big V, close things out with the good, the bad, and the We're going to talk about Scottie Barnes a little bit, doing early work. We're going to talk about some other stuff that has us intrigued, and I'm going to make a plea to the teens. We'll do that coming up in just 1 second. Today's show is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's show is brought to you by Rougiette. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body needs a little extra support, and that is where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it easy to get started. You just connect with the board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. Visit Rougiette.com/LockedInNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedInNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedInNBA so they know that we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. And today's show is also brought to you by our good friends over at Doer, making the best jeans in the whole world. And right now in Toronto, you can go to 44 Ossington Avenue, their brand new store, and pick yourself up some jeans in person. I have a pair of Doer jeans. I also have a t-shirt Doer sent me. Both extremely comfortable, good articles of clothing. The jeans I've mentioned, they're the fleece-lined taper in black, and I cannot wait to wear those around through the winter. We got a baby at home. We like to go for walks with the baby, and going for a nice walk with those cozy fleece-lined jeans, that's going to be a routine for me all winter long. They have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim without losing the shape, which is a big deal. And they're antibacterial, meaning your jeans stay fresher longer, so you can wear more and wash less. We all like that. Simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without having to sacrifice style. You can go to 44 Ossington Avenue in Toronto right now to go and get yourself a pair in person, and you can pick up them for yourself or as an amazing holiday gift. Dads love jeans. Mention my promo code LOCKEDONTORONTO in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out at doer.ca/LockedOnToronto for 15% off. That's DUER.ca/LockedOnToronto facebook.com/LockedOnToronto. Go check them out. Get some pants, would you? Wrapping things up here with Big V Vivek Jacob as we put a bow on the Raptors winning over the Charlotte Hornets to move to 9-5 on the season with the good, the bad, and the It's the way we rounded every single episode of this here podcast on the heels of a Toronto Raptors basketball game, a thing we liked, thing we didn't like, a thing that's got us a little bit intrigued from the latest in Raptors hoops. I will start here, Big V. My good, Scottie Barnes doing early work, particularly the fourth quarter of this game. He was just putting on a clinic of getting to his spot quick, sealing out, finding a mismatch, running the floor with some serious pace and intention, and getting deep, getting the entry pass, and then forcing the defense to utterly panic. And all of a sudden, you get great looks and nice passes and all kinds of good, simple basketball out of it. You saw exactly why they panic when Scottie Barnes has deep post position when he dunked Bridges into the basket. I thought he was fantastic in this game. You know, an understated 16, 6, and 6, but he was awesome. And I love how he's been running the floor just to get things started by sealing out early in these possessions. It's such a, like, when that happens, only good things happen for the Toronto Raptors. What was your good from this game?
My good was Yak being Yak, and I think the way just in general these last few games have played out, the way he's looked, this is kind of the vision, right? When he's on the floor and when he's able to impact the game defensively, when he's finishing at the basket off of dump offs or whatever it may be from Scottie and IQ, that's when it feels really good about what this team can be. And I think just watching Yak, you know, I had some concern coming into this season with his back and, you know, with him missing some time early, with him struggling to get going in first halves. I was like, man, like this, you know, you need this to kind of correct itself at some point. And he said he was feeling really good after the Pacers game and that he's feeling much better. And I thought this was probably another consistent performance that he had from start to finish. So I'm feeling good about Yak. Philly will be another test to see where he's at. Whoa, as we knock the mic off.
Just really excited about Yak. It's all right.
And so, yeah, I think is just being able to sort of alleviate those concerns, you know, and especially the way he was a big part again of those final few minutes and closing it out defensively. And yeah, that impact that he has as a rim protector is legitimately elite, I feel. And I think it makes a big difference to this team.
Yeah, when that tandem of him and Barnes is going, they're pretty damn tough to score on, as was the case all of last season. Nice to see them figuring it out here to start this year. My bad. Look, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the Toronto Raptors right now. They're winning games. And so what I'm going to do is lament about one LaMelo Ball. Man, do I feel bad for Hornets fans that they have to invest their hopes in LaMelo Ball, who I think emanates maybe more supreme loser energy from any player I've ever seen in person. Just like so unserious, man. The number of times he just pulled up for like a 34-foot off-balance contested pull-up 4 seconds into the shot clock last night. I think I counted 3 or 4 of them. It would drive me insane. And then when he doesn't have the ball, he just like stands on the wing like 8 feet back from the line doing absolutely nothing. He has to be the single most talented player who's ever sucked. I can't stand it. And I think for me, the thing that drives me crazy is, I coach like 11 and 12-year-olds in basketball. And every single one of them loves LaMelo Ball and is like, I'm LaMelo. Ooh, LaMelo. And it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, it is the biggest like piece of proof we have that the youths are broken, that the education system has failed us. LaMelo Ball is a nightmare to watch. He is just like, again, give the team to Con Knipple right now. And when Brandon Miller gets back, maybe him too, he's fine. Moussa Diabate is cool. But they're not going anywhere with LaMelo Ball being LaMelo Ball all over the place. And I swear out there, teens, if any teens listen to this, which I don't think they do, but teens, if you're there, if you're listening, if you're watching, you can do better than LaMelo Ball. I promise you, you can do better. Please do better. Big V, what's your bad?
No, I was gonna chime in there, but anyway,
Pile on, please.
no, I'm totally with you. I don't think he's the type of player I can ever get behind as, you know, a model for success, or, you know, someone to kind of be an example to follow. And I feel like it's just not the type of player I would want leading my franchise. Like even at the draft, like I like Con Knipple as a player, but I was thinking, you know, if you're looking for a new franchise player, go ahead and take Ace Bailey and then move on from LaMelo.
Sure. Yeah.
And
get Jeremiah Fears, like anyone.
yeah, so I think, you know, it's just a bad franchise that has made a couple of good decisions of late. So you kind of give them a little bit of leeway there, but I feel like until they move off LaMelo, they're not going to be able to, you know, be taken seriously. And I think that's the toughest part with LaMelo. It's hard to take anything that he does seriously and in a winning context.
Yeah. Well, just wait until he's president. Maybe it'll be different then.
For my bad, I had honestly, it's been tough sledding for Jakob Poeltl. I came in with big hopes for him this season, and that is looking like quite the mirage right now. I think this was a particularly tough game for him. Got some minutes early, and you know, the defense has not been what it was last season. Offensively, I think he's someone who is trying to navigate being impactful in limited minutes. Whereas, you know, last season with everything that was going on, it was like, hey, you're going to get your 15, 20, 25 minutes for sure. Right. And I think it's a lot easier to play through your mistakes and all of that. And I think the thing that's maybe a little bit surprising is maybe seeing him get his head down a little bit. And, you know, I think especially looking at him after that entry feed that he missed to Scottie, where, you know, that's like, come on, like,
yeah,
that's enough of a size advantage to just like throw it up there, let Scottie go get it. There was no way Con Knipple should have been anywhere near making a play on that ball. So far for the season, he's at 32% from the field. He's under 30% from three. So just tough stuff. And hopefully it's just all part of the growth and learning process.
Yeah, for sure. He is a little bit in that like Norm Powell classic position during the Dwayne Casey years, where it's like you have 4 minutes at the end of the half to figure it out, and if you don't, you're benched. And that's a tough way to work, especially when the rest of the bench is looking as good as it is and winning their minutes by so much every single time. Yeah. Maybe some 905 time would do Jakob well. Get some running, get some shots up, something like that. But yeah, I am with you there. Not the greatest run here for Jakob Poeltl. For me, Big V is we're a little worried about the sort of bad habits seeping back into RJ Barrett's game. It's only been a couple of games. I thought, you know, he bailed himself out by finishing shots in the Pacers game, but I thought there was a similar sort of through line between that game, the Nets game, and then this game of just like kind of a lot of tunnel vision. When the ball comes to him, it's like, I have one goal, and it is to score the basketball. There's not a whole lot of making the next play in the sequence, a lot of missed reads. And you couple that with the rim finishing in transition in particular last night, really grim stuff. Look, it was awesome that he got the final bucket. He also played pretty good defense on Miles Bridges on his last miss before the Scottie Barnes block to close the game out. So it wasn't all bad from RJ, and he was still contributing and found ways to be effective when it mattered most. But yeah, I just a little worried. The rim shooting is back down to 66% as well. Stop there. Don't go any further. Just like stay there, please. Not saying I'm concerned, not saying I'm too worried just yet, but there was certainly a thought last night of, do they close with Jamal Shead or Grady Dick in this one? They closed with RJ. They won. No harm, no foul, but not his greatest last few games, and hopefully he can kind of get the ship righted. What is your to round things out?
So while I have the positivity of Yak feeling good and looking good, I will still maintain, you know, from an overall sense, it would be nice to have just a big warm body on the roster. I think that was something that just looking at the first 5 games and even stretches after that, that it'd just nice for Darko to have the option. And so as we go through the games here, I'm kind of just taking a peek down the bench and kind of creating a list of names of just like, come Jan or Feb or whatever. It's like, hey, is this someone that can be picked off on the cheap? Like it's going to be a cheap option. It's going to be a third string option. It's just going to be, hey, like in case of emergency, break glass and just throw this guy in there because he's 7 feet and, he could probably absorb some fouls and just be a big guy and help the Raptors rebound. And so I am adding Mason Plumlee to the list as someone who can just be a warm body and maybe provide some minutes and just be there as an option for Darko.
We sure Mason Plumlee's a warm body? It's not doing much warming up out there.
Well, that's because you got Musa Diabate and Ryan Kalkbrenner giving you good minutes.
Yeah, give me some Diabate. That guy's fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's going to cost you, though.
I mean, I'd rather pay for that than Mason Plumlee in the year of our Lord 2025, 2026 by the time.
Well, that's the point. You wouldn't really be paying.
Yeah, I guess. Sure, we could put him on the list. Maybe page 2, but yeah, sure. Mason Plumlee. Did not know. I mean, I did know.
I'm not saying he's high up the list,
but yeah. But when we started this morning, I did not think Mason Plumlee, future Raptor, would be a question that floated through my head. But thank you. This is why we do the Big V. It's thought provoking. It's yeah. Wow. All right. Anything you want to plug? You got a Mason Plumlee profile coming out or something that you're
no, not at all.
To promote
actually,
here?
In fact, a sportscasting. It's always nice when the American outlets want Raptors content.
Hey,
they asked me to do a piece on the Toronto Raptors, so I'm thinking that might be out later this afternoon, if not the early evening. So you can look forward to that. Besides that, usual stuff at Raptors in 7, and you can follow it all on the socials at Vivek M. Jacob.
And just for those who are looking to search that article up, just search why Mason Plumlee is the secret ingredient to the Raptors championship puzzle, and you'll find it very easily. We're going to leave it there. Thank you, Big V, as always. Thank you to the listeners for hanging out. We always love chatting. Back again on Wednesday. We'll do something. I don't know what just yet. Maybe we'll get a fun guest on. Maybe we'll talk. There's so many possibilities when they're winning the basketball games. It's awesome. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out. We will talk to you again then. And in the meantime, follow the show on your favorite podcast apps. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. You can join the Discord. Link in the description of the podcast. 100% free to join. As always, we're on Instagram. I'm trying to post more clips and stuff on Instagram because it's good.
I see it.
Yeah, just getting my posting fingers back and going. So follow on Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm doing little thoughts after games from my basketball watching chair and/or from the Go Train. So you have that. Anyway, thanks so much.
Did you have people around you when you were doing it?
No, I waited till the car cleared out.
I was like, this is awesome. Someone is just watching this live in the Go Train.
Who is this freak? I'm glad because it took me 9 takes to get it right because, I was sleepy. But yeah, that's it. Bye. Let's talk to you Wednesday. See ya. Ooh.